Welcome back everyone to a brand new episode of turning silksong enemies into Pokémon. Before we start, I just want to warn you of spoilers for late game content, so be aware. In the last episode, we turned the Knight, 4th Chorus and Sister Splinter into Pokémon, as well as Lace into a trainer, specifically Hornet's rival. In this episode, we won't have any trainers, but we do have a few highly requested Pokémon, these being the fleas, the craws, and the bell beast, the most requested one up until now. So watch until the end because its final evolution came out amazing. I know you're going to love it. But not rambling, let's get started. So, as I mentioned, a few of you wanted me to turn the fleas into a Pokémon. In the game, you often find these adorable fluffy creatures scattered around the map. Sometimes they are sleeping, captured by an enemy, or just stuck on their own. They seem to act like dogs as they howl when you find them. So, I decided to turn the Fakemon into a fluffy puppy. Meet Leafy, the flea dog Pokémon. This normal type is very popular in the region due to their soft and fluffy physiology. However, they can be very clumsy and scatterbrained, so they often get lost. So if you have one in your team, be careful and keep an eye on them or it might disappear. Ability wise, I decided to give it speed related abilities because in the game, fleas give you a tool, the Flea Brew, that makes your attacks and movement faster. So I gave it Quick Feet and Rattle for its normal abilities. But for its hidden ability, I went with Fluffy, so you can choose if you want to make it more tanky or fast. Creepy Gamer wanted me to create an object for it similar to the light bulb with Pikachu, so I created the Flea Brew item, which makes Fleafy's attack and speed doubled when equipped. So maybe when Hornet finishes a quest finding all Fleafies for the Flea Tribe NPCs, they will give her this item, so Hornet can have it in her team without evolving. I designed it to look like those collars with a barrel St. Bernard dogs wear in the mountains, but in the case that someone prefers to evolve this Pokemon, I created the next one. There are a few options when it comes to what I can evolve Fleafy into. On one hand, I have the huge flea, but I think it's too similar to the regular flea, so instead I went with one of the flea NPCs that you can find through your journey, and I think that the best option out of all of them is Vogue. Vogue is a warrior flea that wields some kind of giant tooth, so I went with that, turning the cute puppy flea into a more aggressive dog-like creature, as Vogue is quite rude and aggressive in its speech. Meet Rabrash, the flea dog Pokemon. Fleafies often get lost, and they aren't always able to find their way back home. When that happens, they end up losing their ability to socialize and become much tougher and aggressive in order to survive, triggering their evolution. However, a good trainer might be able to help it reintegrate to a certain extent. Stat-wise, I imagine this Pokemon to be quite common and early in the game, similar to Meowth, so the stats aren't too high, only 450 base stat total. Its attack is quite good, and it's got decent speed to complement its abilities, but the rest is a little mediocre. Most Pokemon regions need to have its own common flying type bird Pokemon. In Gen 1 we had Pidgey, Gen 3 had Tailo, Gen 4 Starly, and so on, and the Farlin region is no exception. Many of you requested me to create a Pokemon out of the craws. One of you, Starlit Spectre, even suggested some names for them, which I ended up implementing. So the craws are these interesting bugs that basically look and act like crows, so of course I designed them to look as such. Crows are very intelligent animals who like to collect shiny objects, and in the game the craws act in a similar way, picking up rosaries and shards and placing them inside their nest. They also wield shiny weapons that they picked up like the pin or the throwing knives. So for this stage, I wanted to start implementing this aspect, picking up objects to throw it at you with a little shiny bell. The bell is also fitting as Bellheart is close to where you can find them. Meet Crawfisher. This flying and dark type Pokemon loves shiny objects, often collecting them and accumulating them inside their nests. However, they always keep at least one of them to use as a throwing weapon. Their cawing resonates well with metallic objects, making them vibrate. For the evolutions, I had to choose between two of them, the tall crow and the squat crow. I ended up making a mix of both for a few reasons. I used the tall crow's general shape because I felt like the squat crow was more similar to the Crawfather, who I will obviously be using as the final evolution. So in order to differentiate them a little more and give more of an identity to this stage, I went with that. However, I still went with the squat crow's throwing knives as a weapon, as I felt more like a natural evolution to the first stage throwing a bell. Meet Long Craw. Its wings become bigger and more dexterous, allowing them to hide some sneaky knives to throw at their opponents when they least expect them. Their core wing has also become much more powerful, enhancing the power of their throwing attacks thanks to the powerful vibrations. As for their ability, I went with just one, Steelworker, Dhelmise's signature ability, which gives them stab to their steel type attacks. I think it's fitting as they constantly attack with metallic weapons, which they enhance with their core wing. And finally, the final evolution, based on the Craw Father. While the Craw Father doesn't show its eyes, I wanted it to have one visible eye. Birds often will tilt their head and watch you with their eye, almost like if they were judging you. And that's the whole premise of the Craw Father. They blame you for the state of Farloom, so they summoned you to the core of Craws to judge you. Craw Father uses chains to attack you, so it decided to add its nest in its back, where a chain it controls can come out of it to attack you. Meet Craw Order. This Pokemon seems to believe that anything that catches its interest belongs to it, so if it catches you with it, it will accuse you of theft and attack you. It can control metallic objects thanks to the vibrations caused by its core wing, so you will often spot it with its nest on its back with a powerful chain being controlled coming out of it. Its stats aren't too high, as most early route birds don't have amazing stats, but its HP is quite high, and it's got a decent enough speed or attack to complement with a choice band or choice scarf. Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I just wanted to take a moment to let you know that if you want to support the channel, you can become a member as well as getting some awesome perks. This month, you will get a downloadable wallpaper of Cyndaquil for your phone, so be sure to check out the membership plans to see what interests you if you really want to help this growing channel. The channel is still in its early stages, so any support I can get really helps. Anyway, let's get back to the video. And for the final design of the day, many, and I mean a lot of you, asked for this one, the Bell Beast. This character starts as a boss, but once you defeat it, it becomes like a pet who serves as fast travel. In the first episode of the Silksong as Pokémon series, I asked what Pokémon would fit Hornet's team, and a few of you said that Lairon looks a lot like the Bell Beast, so it should become part of her team. So I decided to make a convergent or fake regional, depend how you prefer to call them, of the Aeron line. Of course, we need to start with Aeron, whose counterpart in the game wouldn't be the Bell Beast but its kin, the Beastlings. Meet Aeron, the Bell Beast Pokemon. This bug type Pokemon may look like Aeron, however it's a completely different species. It has a hard shell covering its body. Sound seems to travel through it and eventually coming out amplified. Next, of course, we have the Bell Beast, looking like Lairon. I struggled a bit because it was hard to keep Lairon's face while also making it look like the Bell Beast. Unlike Aeron, Lairon doesn't have visible black around the eyes, so not adding that really took away from looking like the Bell Beast, so I ended up adding it even if it lost a bit of Lairon in the design. The rest is pretty similar, but I added another pair of legs and changed the general shape of the mask to be more similar to the Bell Beast. Meet Lairon, the Bell Beast Pokemon. Travels through the Bellway at great speeds. While most Pokemon would harm themselves traveling through there due to the loud noise, Lairon can redirect these sound waves to protect itself or even its trainer if it's mounted on top. As for its abilities, I think that an obvious one from the description I gave is soundproof, making it immune to sound-based moves. I also gave it shell armor to complement its hard shell. And finally, for its hidden ability, I went with multi-scale. I'm thinking that if this Pokemon goes to Hornet's team, she wouldn't evolve it. Instead, she would give it an Eviolite, making it extra tanky, and with that ability, it would be really hard to take down. And for the final evolution, of course, I went with the Bell Eater. I'm not sure if they're actually related somehow, like maybe it's a more mature version of the Bell Beast, as they both have the same eye pattern, but it's the only one that would really fit in this case. The challenge came from trying to make it look like Aggron. The Bell Beast and the Beastlings really look similar to Aeron and Lairon, but this one not so much. So I had to take a few liberties to make it somehow similar, but I kept a few things from Aggron. Mostly the eye design, its teeth and two horns coming out of its head. Overall, I'm really happy with the design. I hope you like it too. Meet Belgron, now a bug and dragon type Pokemon. This Pokemon is much more aggressive than its pre-evolution, who can be very docile and a great companion. Because of this, many trainers will avoid evolving it, but if you decide to do it and manage to tame it, this Pokemon can be a fearsome opponent. For its stats, I gave it high defense and decent attack and special defense, instead of going full physical defense like Aggron does. And that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Had a lot of fun designing them. Don't forget to subscribe because next week we have another amazing video. This time I will be revealing Hornet starter Pokemon in the Farland region, so stay tuned. Before leaving, I would like to thank RedClaw87 for becoming a patron, as well as remind you all that if you want to help support this channel, you can become one too. Anyway, thanks again for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!